Hey folks, so this video is gonna have a big royalty theme, with a focus on the number 319. Starting with King Charles III, his date of birth was November 14th, 1948. That was a leap year, which means that he was born on the 319th day of that year. Now let's look at his date of coronation. The coronation of Charles III and Camilla occurred on May 6th, 2023. Using that as a starting point, going forwards a span of 319 days brings us to the date March 19th, a date which can appear as 319. By the way, I'm going to show a few date calculations. This is the only one I believe that has a quote-unquote span, and by span, I mean including the ending dates. So again, from the coronation going forwards to this year's March 19th, 319, is a span of 319 days. Now let's go backwards. Again with the coronation date, May 6th, 2023. Going backwards 319 days brings us to June 21st. That was heir apparent Prince William's birthday. So from Prince William's birthday to the coronation was 319 days. And this brings me to singer Prince and his connection with 319. Prince had a song called 319 that came out on the album The Gold Experience. It also came out on a soundtrack, the Showgirls soundtrack. We'll talk about that a little bit. But this album, for what it's worth, The Gold Experience, was the first time that Prince, the first album that Prince didn't go by his name Prince, he went by this symbol, a sigil, if you will. People just referred to him as the artist formerly known as Prince. So the song 319 is on that. We'll get to that, but I listened to the album in its entirety recently while preparing for this presentation, and I found this track called Endorphin Machine. And at the end of that song, the tail end of Endorphin Machine, after the song itself is over, there's an announcer, or operator, if you will, a speaker saying in Spanish, forgive my pronunciation, she's saying, Prince está muerto, Prince está muerto, which translates to Prince is dead, Prince is dead. And this is the same album with 319 was on. 319 is a number I associate with Prince's death. It's an interesting little article I found online. Feel free to take a screenshot here, zoom in if you want. I don't know how clear it's going to be on the screen. But I'm going to show this a couple of times, and the release date that we're given for that album is going to be important too. But for now, just speaking about the song 319, I was a bit mind blown. Years ago when Prince died, love him or hate him, Zach Hubbard predicted Prince's death. If you've been around long enough, you know this. He's had a ton of channels that have been deleted, but he used to only go by Free to Find Truth. You can still find the old blog post, Blogspot, Free to Find Truth. So there are some blog decodes. But I know people have mirrored his old videos. I'd love to find that old video he did. It was February of 2016, just after the death of Vanity. He connected numbers of Vanity with Prince, and he said, basically a warning, Prince better watch his ass. Look at the numbers here, you know. And something that a reader contributed here was that Prince died 319 days after his birthday. And he had that song called 319. And I have the date calculation on the screen here. His birthday is June 7th. He died on April 21st, 2016. So from the death date, April 21st, 2016, going backwards 319 days brings you to Prince's birthday. And something else I learned from Zach's channel back when he was Free to Find Truth was that Prince died on Queen Elizabeth's birthday. I'm sure he's not the only person to say that, but that's where I learned it from. So credit where credit's due. I learned it from Zach. And He pointed out that Prince had that song called I Would Die For You. And he died on 4/21, April 21st. Zach's channel is all about gematria, turning letters into numbers, so U is the 21st letter of the English alphabet. I would die, the number 4 and the letter U, so 4 and 21. And he died on Queen Elizabeth's birthday, so there's that royalty theme there. So the date that album came out, the Gold Experience, the one with the song 319, the date we're given is September 26, 1995. So we use that as a starting point. Going backwards to Prince's birthday that year was 3 months, 19 days. Now let's see a 319 connection with Prince's first wife. I don't know if I pronounced this correctly, Mayte Garcia. They got married on Valentine's Day. We'll talk about the 319 connection with that in a little bit, but the first wife, she was born on November 12th. So from that album that 319 was on, September 26, 1995 release date, going backwards 319 days brings you to the first wife's birthday. And that was before they were married. They got married shortly after the album was released. But again, from her birthday leading up to the release of that album that 319 was on was 319 days. Now, this might be tricky, but a lot of us, we number the Fibonacci numbers, what number, triangular numbers connected with whatever, but not a lot of us are talking about composite number connections. Lately, I've been on about this because of someone that called into Zach's radio show. So, the number 319 is a composite number, and if you look at where it falls in the composite numbers chart, it is the 252nd composite number. So they got married on Valentine's Day, and if you go backwards, it's Valentine's Day of 1996. If we go backwards 252 days, that brings you to Prince's birthday. And again, that 252 connects with 319 because the 252nd composite number is 319. Call this a stretch if you want, but every 4 years, the anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's death falls on the 252nd day of the year. She died on September 8th, and normally it's the 251st day, but on a leap year, and I'm sure they'll commemorate her death every year. Every leap year, it's the 252nd day of the year. So let's see how this connects with Prince's next wife. I think he had 2 wives, not at the same time. And remember, Queen Elizabeth had this connection with Prince because Prince died on Queen Elizabeth's birthday. But now Queen Elizabeth was buried on Prince's next wife's birthday. So the next wife, I believe her name is pronounced Manuela Testolini. Her birthday is September 19th. Queen Elizabeth was buried on September 19th. A date which can appear as 9/19. It's worth pointing out that 919 minutes into the day is 3:19 p.m. Again, 3:19. Can't overstate the connection with the song 319. The album, The Gold Experience, that says Prince está muerte, Prince is dead. And Prince died 319 days after his birthday. I'll show you a composite chart again, but the 319th composite number is 398. So if we look at Queen Elizabeth's date of birth, going backwards 398 days brings us to March 19th, a date which can appear as 319. Now, Prince died on her birthday. We can't use his birthday as his death day as for this calculation because he died on a leap year, so that throws the count off. I have a deeper appreciation for the so-called rule of Colel. especially when I talk about leap year stuff. But yeah, from Queen Elizabeth's actual date of birth going backwards, the 319th composite number of days brings you to the date 319. And here's the chart. You can verify this. You could search out charts yourself. Feel free to screenshot, but this is the first 319 composite numbers. The 319th is 398. Looking at King Charles III's coronation again, May 6th, 2023, going forwards 398 days, just so happens to bring us to singer Prince's birthday this year. 398, again, is the 319th composite number. Now we'll see how vanity fits in with this. Remember, Zach was able to predict Prince's death by looking at the death of vanity. I remember very clearly. I wish he still had those videos up because it was in February. He said, Prince better watch his ass. Looking at the numbers connected with vanity. But anyway, Vanity died February 15th, 2016. If we go forwards 398 days, that brings us to March 19th, 3/19. And 398 is the 319th composite number. Now, looking at this article again about the song 319, I'm going to show you the bottom of the screen here. Zoom in. At the very bottom there, it says, Prince has said that the track 319 was inspired by American actress Elizabeth Berkley, who starred in the movie Showgirls. Now, it's worth pointing out that in that movie, that song 319 appears as she's dancing on the stage. Now, fair warning, if you go to verify this, that movie has a lot of nudity in it. It's not for everybody. Now, I was trying to find a connection with Prince and Elizabeth Berkley. You know, a numbers connection. Nothing really jumped out at me. Her as the person, as the actress, whatever. But the character in the movie has a connection. And also, this is kind of silly, but I thought, Queen Elizabeth has the connection with Prince. The biggest one being that Prince died on Queen Elizabeth's birthday. And by the way, well, I think I might have mentioned this already, but it's been well documented that the song I Would Die For You seems to reference that Prince would die on 4/21. U being the 21st letter of the alphabet. April 21, 4/21. I would die for you. Death was connected with the number 319. The song 319 was on the Gold Experience album, which also had Endorphin Machine. At the end of Endorphin Machine is the announcement that Prince is dead. Prince is dead. I read from Zach's blog, someone contributed this also, that on that movie, Showgirls, which 319 appears in, there is a scene where they're in the hospital. Elizabeth Berkley's character, the main character, is looking for someone in room 319. This is found at the very end of the movie. Again, there's a lot of nudity. It's not for everybody. But near the end of the movie, she's looking for Crystal Connors. The person behind the desk at the hospital says room 319. But about halfway through the movie, not quite halfway through the movie, something else caught my attention. Elizabeth Berkley's character in Showgirls was applying for something or whatever. She needed to give information to somebody, and they asked her birthday, and she seemed like she was lying, but she says 7/3/73, make me think July 3rd of 1973. Look at this, using that as a starting point, July 3rd, 73, 7/3/73, going backwards 73 days, brings you to Queen Elizabeth's birthday, April 21st. It was Elizabeth Berkley's character who danced to the Prince song in that movie. And Prince would die on April 21st.